Hey y'all. Yeah, I'm doing it a little bit different today. I am not having anybody in the chat, so I don't have to be distracted by questions. And today, the topic, I love myself. I love myself, and I feel that most people who are, you know, most people that know me know that I always love myself first. And whenever you love yourself first and last, it's very it's it's very beneficial to you because no one else can give you your value. No one else can give you your worth. Not even a man, not even a friend, not even other people that you don't know. Um, they kind of go away and never return, and they never return as far as a thought is concerned because their opinion doesn't matter ever. Either way, it never matters. It just like no longer exists in a way. So make sure that when you love yourself first and you love yourself, period, you're just not caring about what other people are doing. Why? Because sometimes a lot of people will not have your best interest in mind. They will not want good for you. They will not want things to go the way that you want them to go. So sometimes you have to just be by yourself and alone. At least how you think about yourself and how you love yourself. You must do that separately, and you must not seek out other people's approval or whatever. You must only have that for yourself because when someone comes along and they try to, you know, give you a value or make you think something about yourself, it won't work and it will never work because you already have that and it can't be ever taken from you. And the reason why I'm saying this to a lot of women is because once you start to look for outside approval or outside love or outside this or outside that, it may not come like you want it to. It may not be the type of person that you wanted it to be, or the type of people or whatever, or the type of group or whatever, or however you're seeking it. It probably won't be that. So just be with yourself, and when someone comes along who equally loves themselves and feels the same way about themselves, then hopefully, if you are able to, meet them as well, as far as self love, maybe they will want to get to know you. Yeah. So I always tell women, yeah, go for the man with the money, go for this, go for that. Yeah, make sure he could pay for stuff. Don't, it's not the same with someone who cannot do anything for themselves, let alone for you. So always keep that. Yes. Um, but uh, never go back, never go backwards. Always stay in your position, as loving yourself above all others, within, outside, around, above, below, like everywhere. Because nobody else is going to do it like you will. And that may set you up for a lot of disappointment. It may, if that's what you're looking for. But if you've learned and you know that no one can love you the way that you do, then you'll never look for love again outside of yourself. Um, so your love is only your love. Now, your children that you birthed, your literal children, that came out of your literal body, you know, your babies, they have an attachment to you. And so of course you loved them. But, you know, of course that's normal. So you have to make sure that they feel that love as well. And that's something that a lot of parents work on. And that's a lot of people, you know, they don't know what they're doing as parents. So they try to learn as they go. But for your you know, for right now, you need to love yourself the most, because once you know how to do that, then you can love other people. Even, you know, you can love other people and not have these expectations, because a lot of people have too many expectations, like, and women especially, because we feel like we need to have this, we need to have that, and you know, sometimes we do we do want things, and sometimes we just want to love ourselves. And when there's too many things in the way or too many distractions in the way, we tend to forget, and we're like, oh well, I'm not receiving the love that I'm normally receiving. So then you start seeking it out from other people, or you start seeking it with other people, because you're surrounded by too many people and you don't have enough alone time to love yourself. You know, you don't have enough, um the correct word that I'm looking for is that you don't have enough, mm, me time, you know. So make sure you take your time, you know, do your makeup, do your hair, take a walk around, even if it's just in your own house, you know. Like right now, I'm in my office upstairs, so it's just where I always like to do these. So just have some me time. Like get your favorite, you know, drink, get your favorite, watch your favorite video, even if it's of yourself. Because I'm always watching my own videos, like, because when I watch my own videos, it's like I'm talking to myself. And when I talk to myself, it's like, oh hey, yeah, that's I totally agree with that. And people say I'm narcissistic because I watch my own videos, but they're they're really good. Mhm. So hopefully, I know a lot of people that are that do the same thing that I do, probably watch their own videos as well, just to see, you know, what did I say? Oh yeah, that was funny. Ha ha ha. So make sure that you don't just watch everybody else, but like sometimes go watch yourself, or go look through your, you know, own pictures and stuff like that, and just remind yourself who you are. Um, we're so busy looking at other people. We're so busy watching other people. We're so busy doing those things when we can look at ourselves all the time and focus on us. And that's going to be the best way, because I remember before I was focused on so many things and, you know, trying to do so many things. Um, I was I was always focused on me, always, and in a good way. I was always starting something new. I had a bunch of different ideas. Always starting something like I'm getting ready to do roll out more products and things like that for my new stationery line that I'm doing. And then Level Up Cosmetics. I have some new lipsticks out that I'm getting ready to actually put on my website. But at the same time, you know, I don't know if I'm going to put those lipsticks on that website or a different one, because it seems like, you know, there's probably, I don't know, we'll see. But definitely going to be under a different category, or a different, what do you call it, collection, because I'm doing different collections, since there's, you know, different styles. So yeah, make sure that if you, you know, if you get one, I haven't put them out yet. I haven't put them out yet. I'm just taking my time. And when I take my time with something, it usually is really, really how I want it to be. So I tend to take my time. And when I take my time with things, it's better results. It's better. And I like it better because you can tell when you rush something, and I don't want to just throw it out there and be like, oh, I should have done this and I should have done that. So what I want to do is just take my time and put the things out, make sure it's quality, make sure it says me all over it, make sure that when people see it, they see exactly, they see me. And when they see me, you know, as a reflection or as the actual product, and it's not the product that they're seeing my touch on it, they're seeing my, oh, that's SheRaSeven, or that's Ashira. Yes, that's, yeah. They recognize me. Or I wouldn't say recognize me, but they see who I am, through the product. In the same time, I don't want my product to be me, you know? What I want it to be is motivation for other women to be them. That's what I like. Like, oh, if she can do this, let me go see what I can do for myself. You know, um, I want to motivate women to love themselves, to be the best version of themselves, because you can't really be everyone else, because there's only one me, and there's always only going to be one me. um just like there's always going to be just one you. That's it. And so, trying to be everyone else and trying to copy everyone else is just not going to, fully make you feel like you love yourself. And if you love yourself, you wouldn't want to be anyone else. And if you want to be someone else, you don't love yourself. So, wanting to be yourself, loving yourself the most, is going to show up in all of your work. You're going to be able to see that, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm not trying to, rush anything out. So that's what I want. I want to make sure that everything within me is me. Everything that I create is, me loving me. Okay. So that's how we're going to do that. We'll see, because I have a lot of stuff that's on the way, and it's going to be something that I want to just take my time with. Okay, so this video is about loving yourself, and I see a lot of different people who don't love themselves, and they're always trying to love others before they love themselves. And I think when you love yourself above all others, around all others, a lot of people will get mad and then they want to say, well, she loves herself so much. I want to be like her. I love her, like, no, love yourself. Love yourself. Because when you love yourself, and you don't have to do that. You don't have to seek outside love. Because usually when somebody says, oh, I love you, it's either it's either because they don't love themselves enough and they want to be um, in love with someone who does love themselves, because they want to learn how to love themselves. But at the same time, if you don't already love yourself, then you're just going to be disappointed. So love yourself. You know, don't always lead a sentence with, oh, I love this, or oh, I love that, because if you continuously misuse that word, it's going to be like, okay, well, you love everything. So what about yourself? Do you love yourself? Because everything you say is, I love, I love, I love it. Or, we get in a habit of using stupid sayings but I don't love everything, and that's just the truth. And you don't love everyone or everything. That's a lie, you know. So be careful what you say that you love, because the more things that you say, "Oh, I love, I love, I love," you're you're forgetting about yourself. You're forgetting to say, "Oh, I love myself," though, because you can't really love objects. You can't love people you barely know. So, use a different word like, "Oh, that's really, that's it's so creative of you. That's really admirable." Try to separate yourself from trying to be with someone or as someone or like someone, because how are you going to stand out as an individual original if you're too much like this person or that person, or you love them more than you love yourself? It's like you're never going to be who you want to be because you're too busy being what everyone wants you to be, what you think everyone wants you to be, or um, in love with someone who you don't even really know, or who doesn't know you, or maybe you made a mistake and you realize, oh, I have nothing in common with this person. So don't ever rush. Take your time. And when I say take your time, I'm not talking about, you know, when you're young and you just, do whatever you want to do. I'm talking about when you're really trying to, do something better. You're really trying to have a relationship that's best for you. Or sometimes people don't even need to be in a relationship, with the opposite sex, because what people have as expectations may be something like only in their mind. And if they want their partner to be that way, you basically you can't really say, okay, I want this, and that. And then that partner says, okay, I'll be this, and that. Because you know why? If they're not that already, they're not going to be happy within themselves. They're not going to be comfortable, I should say, being what you want them to be. So I guess it's very hard to find that. And if you ever do, definitely be able to recognize it. But at the same time, if you see that, the other person has to recognize it as well. Like, you can play around and stuff with other people, but if you have, if you got time and energy to do all of that, yes, have fun, do your thing. But if you ever find one person that fits that, um, oh, that person is exactly what I want and they don't even have to change. That might be like, oh wow. But then at the same time you're like, oh, well, there then like some fear sets in, because I know a lot of women ask me on this channel, well, he's everything that I want, but I'm scared that he's gonna do this, or I'm scared that they're gonna do that, or I'm scared that she's gonna do this, or I'm scared that she's gonna do that. Well, we're scared of a lot of things, but we do them every day. Every day. You know what I do? Or actually, I'm not really scared of too much, but I don't really like to talk about stuff that people are afraid of or trigger people's fears. But there's a lot of things that people are afraid of that they have to do every day, and just to get from wherever they're, trying to get from A to B. But they don't sit there and think about those fears. They just get up and go do it. And usually they get there. Like some people um, have this fear of like leaving their environment or their house, thinking, they have what, social anxiety and things like that. Yeah. And they say, okay, well, I'm going to go walk over here. I'm going to walk over here. And then when they get there, it's like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And so once they do that, they start to see, oh, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe it's not so bad. But at the same time, you're not thinking about the fear at all. What you're thinking about is the result that you're going to get, or this is what I've always thought it would be, and this is what I've always wanted. And when I let go of that fear, I have it. You know what I'm saying? And when you have something, because you let go of the fear, it's like, oh yes, I have this now, and now it's on, like, to your next phase. And so when you're on to your next phase, it's like, oh, I used to fear this and I used to fear that, but now look. And now, what's the next phase? Is there a new fear, or there's no fear? I think after you get over one of your biggest fears, it's like nothing else can compare. Okay? It's like, oh my goodness. But I'm sure as life goes on, things occur and new fears may grow. They may or may not, may. But always remember how you got over one of your other fears that will help you get over your next fear, if you should ever have one. Okay. What I know and who I represent, what I represent, which is myself. Um, what I know is that a lot of people wish, or I don't know, I don't think I'll use the word wish. I think a lot of people just want to have something that they can feel um, safe. I guess that's the word, safe around, or safe with. Like I would say, like men are providers and protectors. They should be able to provide and protect you. And so I think a lot of women, a lot of females, a lot of a lot of us would like to feel that protection, and to feel that we're we're not lacking anything, and but at the same time we love ourselves. But just like I said, the man should also love themselves. And by loving themselves, and by you loving yourself, and then you guys love one another, then he automatically will be your protector. But at the same time, make sure that that's what you know, that's the type of man you want. Because if you don't want that type of man, and you love yourself and they love themselves, it could end up being like dealing with two people that are very individualistic. And I would never want to end up married to somebody like that. You know why? The reason why it's gonna be funny. The reason why I could never end up with somebody, because someone has to you have to have some type of complimentary, like, and usually the woman takes that role. She'll, what they call, quote unquote, submit, or allow the man to rule this side while she rules that side, or whatever, of things. But when the man is not doing their part, sometimes the woman has to take over. And that's frustrating, because a lot of women complain about how their man is not fulfilling their role, and that's very frustrating. So if you're an individual person who's very selfish and individualistic, you need to be with a very giving person, a very giving person who does not um, care that you're that way, and they'll still accept what your ways are. But two people that are the same, they'll just be like two separate people, basically roommates, you know? And I feel that a lot of people are in those type of relationships. It may not have started out like that, but when you become too individualistic, you end up competing, or as roommates. So Some people compete and some people end up as roommates and some people, end up as friends or whatnot. So it just depends on because marriage never stays the same as it did in the beginning. Never. You never like the honeymoon phase, it's not there all the time. And it's not there after the honeymoon phase, basically. So marriage is not what you think it is. And it's not about love, it's about self-love and how you can tolerate other people who love themselves. So if you can tolerate, if you can be with someone who already loves themselves and they're not constantly seeking, love everywhere or from you or from da da da, um, that could be a problem somewhat if they're needy. But if they're loving themselves because they feel good about themselves, it's fine. But at the same time, if they don't feel good about themselves, if people are making them feel insecure, if someone is telling them this or this and that, and creating those things or bringing those thoughts in, you have to be strong enough to like ignore them and be like, "Psh, whatever, psh, whatever, psh, whatever." You got to be a very um, self-loving woman or a self-loving man to not accept what people say about you, even if it's someone close to you, like whatever. So a lot of people have this problem, and it may not be a problem, but it could become a problem. So you always have to be self-loving. You always got to love yourself. And the reason why you always got to love yourself is because if you don't, somebody else will see that. They will say, "Oh, they don't love themselves. So I bet you I can manipulate them. Or I bet you I can, do this and do that with them." But sometimes people don't always come back to their self love. Sometimes. Sometimes they don't. And then they become the victims. But when you come back to your self love, it's like rose eyes, your mama. Okay. Your little mama. Your stepmom, whoever. I don't know. Some people have stepmothers. But at the same time, it's a little joke. But at the same time, it's like, self love is the best love. And you may not embrace everyone. You may not want everyone to be close to you because they bring their opinions with them or they bring, their 2 cents in. And that's perfectly normal if you're married to them. But not everybody gets to put in their 2 cents. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody gets to put in their opinion or whatever. So the best thing I would suggest is keeping a jar. I call it a tip jar. Keep a tip jar. Have some pieces of paper next to it and a little pen or pencil. And whenever somebody decides to give you 2 cents or uh, some advice you didn't ask for, put it in that glass. Put it in that jar and be like, here. And when they leave, give it back to them. And before they leave, that jar may be full. That jar may be full of their own opinions and 2 cents. And then you'd be like, here you go. What's this? Oh, it's a parting gift. Well, what is this? Is everything that you said, imposed, said I should do, um, your opinions, your unsolicited advice, take it back with you. I'm like, I didn't ask for that. Oh, well, I just thought it would be, yeah, that's nice. And I find myself doing the same thing to people, and it doesn't even like until afterwards. I'm like, I really did that? Wow. And some people do the same thing. They're like, I really did that? Yeah. And you know what I really feel that is? I feel that it's people seeing you and saying, oh, well, that person would be so much better if they did that. Well, maybe that person loves themselves exactly as they are, and they're taking their time becoming who they want to be or the best version of themselves, you know. A lot of people will say, like, suggest things, and it you heard it, and eventually, if you agree with it, then you may use some of that idea, or you may use some of those suggestions, and make that a part of something that you're creating. But and it's a terrible thing that sometimes people push stuff on you or throw things at you just nonchalantly, and it's like, yeah, but you have to be very careful of what you accept about yourself coming from other people. So don't ever do that. Um, and like I said, everyone's learning. Everyone's learning. Like even if you have even if you have your kids and you're like your children, and you're like, oh, I don't know how to be a parent, but I feel like you should do this and you should do that. You're trying to help them become the person, or you're trying to raise them up as kids, but at the same time, you don't know what you're doing either. And sometimes they may know what's best for them, but you also have to be an example of what you want or maybe want them to be. So, um, if you're telling your children to do something and you're not doing it, they're gonna look at you and be like, "Ma, you're not doing that." And you're like, "Ugh, you're right. Let's do it together. Let's do it together because if I tell you to do something and I'm not doing it, then yeah, then it's not gonna work out." So, for example, if I'm telling my kid, "Oh, clean your room," and my room's messy, then the maids are coming tomorrow actually, then I can't really just be upset. And sometimes you gotta remind yourself of that. Don't be so hard. Um, and if you do, apologize. Like, sorry, yeah, I should have yelled at you like that. I'm guilty of the same thing. Da, da, da. Yeah. So after y'all get over that, or after y'all realize what y'all have done, parents, children, husbands, wives, whatever, whatever, you have to make sure that you try not to do the same thing over and over again. Because if you do, then that's going to become part of quote unquote your relationship, and it's not what's good. That's when they say toxic relationship. Some people like toxic relationships because it allows them to be who they are and make mistakes at the same time when they know that the other person will just be like, well, that's okay. You're we do this and we always get through it, so it doesn't matter. But then at the same time, it's still toxic. So there has to be a better middle ground, it's a better way to do stuff. Because I've always been like a toxic type of person in a relationship on purpose. You know why? The reason why is because I really feel like it's a test. And a test is something like, well, if you really want to be with me, then you'll deal with this. You'll deal with this if you really want to be with me. And that's when I was young. That's when I was young. And then, you know, if you've been in a relationship for a long time and you hadn't had to do that, you hadn't had to feel that way, and then all of a sudden those feelings come back, you may revert back to thinking the same way. Well, if you really want to deal with me, and it's because you feel as if the person may not be doing enough. And so, oh, here's a test. You're like, it's being taken for granted a lot of times. It's like, one of the reasons I don't like to cook. It's like, and I've explained this so many times on other videos, like, I don't like to cook because no one appreciates it, no one cares. And so it's like, why even bother? Doesn't matter. And so, especially if you're with someone who doesn't have the type of um, ap- appreciation for food or types of meals or things that you actually like to cook. And at the same time, it's like, oh, a waste of time. So just order something. And when you get into that, it's like, okay, well, that's when you become like, okay, well, everyone's so separate. Everyone likes a separate type of food. Everyone likes this. And when it's time to like eat or whatever, if you can't find any foods that you guys like in common, you're going to have like a bunch of different types of food on the table. And it's like, no one wants to go through all that. It's exhausting cooking all of that. It's like, just order what you want and it'll all be delivered. You know what I'm saying? It's, I think that's why a lot of these companies that you can order food from are so popular now because like people are tired of people wanting this and wanting that and wanting it's like I'm not the maid and I ain't the cook. I am the wife. Those duties are not included in those marriage vows. Period. Okay, then nowhere I said that. So I'm not obligated to do any of those things for anyone. Now, if you want to every once in a while because you feel like it, then great. Wonderful. Yes, do it. But that's not in your job description. That is not in your marriage vows. It doesn't have to be done by you. Okay. Like I have to hire, people to clean because I hate to clean up. I don't like cleaning. That's just who I am. I was kind of spoiled as a child and I don't like to clean. And I guess, I can't really complain if your kids, you can't complain if your kids' rooms are dirty because you don't like to clean and they have maids too, because if you have a maid, they got a maid. It's like, okay, oh, I'm not gonna worry about my room because the maids are coming tomorrow. Like, but when they grow up, are they gonna be able to afford maids on their own without you? That's the things that you have to think about. So you have to at least maintain what the maids have done. But at the same time, it's very hard to maintain what the maids have done, or it's very hard to maintain something when you're not used to it. And it's just like, so I guess they're just going to like have to take a lot of things away. That's what I've done. I've taken a lot of things away so that there's not so much to have to pick up and clean up and all that kind of stuff. And I'm hiring like a junk man to come and remove a lot of the junk out of here, um, because it's like it's too much and it piled up. It's like my kids have a closet full of toys they don't even play with anymore. That has to go. Um, and I'll probably de-junk a lot of things in my office as well because let's face it, I don't use all the stuff. But it does come in handy sometimes. It's like, oh, I need that. I'll just probably de-junk the stuff I haven't really used in a long, 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 long time. Um, that way I have more space to spread out the other things. But at the same time, like, you know, it's it's needing to be done. And so a lot of people like to hold on to old junk and things like that. If it's valuable, hold on to it. Yes. If you haven't used it in a long time, let it go. If you don't see it, if it's not there, if it's not something that you see or touch every day, let it go. Why? Because you're never going to have a use for it ever again. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if an object or something something that you have in your house is not useful to you, why is it there? Why is it there? It's not useful. Get rid of it. And the reason why you have to get rid of it is because it's just collecting and taking up space, and you don't need something taking up space in your life, in your house, or anywhere if it's not useful to you. Just like a person, you don't need a person there in your life if they're not useful to you. If they're not, you know, something that you see or touch or use, in some form or fashion on a daily basis or even a weekly basis. So it doesn't need to be there. If it's there, it's because, you know, it could be decor, because or sentimental. But at the same time, if you're going to have something, um, make sure you have the space for it. Make sure you have what's, um, or even if you don't have the space for it, make the space for it. Make the space for it. If you can't make the space for it, get rid of something else. You know, that's something that I've learned. And the funny thing is, I bought a bookshelf, and I thought that when they delivered it, it was going to be all put together, and it came in pieces. And I paid, a decent amount of money for that. And I was kind of upset because I have a bookshelf in I already have a bookshelf, and it's also in pieces. And I ordered another one because I thought it was gonna come put together. And I'm like, dang, a rolling eye, like, ugh. But guess I'll have to figure it out and put it together because I'm probably the only one in the house that is able to do that. Or hire someone to do it. Or hire somebody to come and put this thing together because that bookshelf, like, is going to help me because I have it's going to be in my room, and I have a lot of books everywhere. I have a lot of books, and I'm like, I need to put everything on a shelf so that I can see them. But at the same time, it's going to help the room look much neater. And so that's what I'm kind of doing right now. And loving yourself is the same thing. It's like putting yourself as a priority, putting yourself first, putting yourself, you know, together because like a lot of women, like I remember when we first moved into this house, it was so nice and clean and um less junky, but then you go shopping and you bring in more stuff and you bring in more stuff and then um eventually like okay, it's getting a little bit crowded in here. You got to give away stuff or find better storage or organization for it. So I'm like, let me do that. And I'm not the best decorator because I can't really decorate that well. But I know my style and I know what I like. And that's what's going to make me the happiest because I tried to have like this decorative look, around the house. And I would look at it and it wouldn't make me feel any type of way. I'm like, that's not, it's too blah. I need to add something to it. It needs some, this and that. So, and then I was too busy listening to other people's opinions. Well, I don't like this. Well, it's not for you. It's for me. And I would change the decor in my room because like one of my kids or somebody would make a comment about it like, oh, da, da, da. Look, you don't have to live here. Bye. You know. So that's very important to make sure that if you like it, then it stays. If you don't like it, or no, if other people don't like it, they can leave. Okay. So I don't like that you put that picture there, or I don't like that you put that on the table, or I don't like that you put this in here, or I don't like this. It's one thing if it's your house. This is my house, okay? And if you put something on a table that I don't like, or I put something on a table that you don't like, either you got to compromise and say, we got to compromise," or you got to ask someone beforehand, look, can I put this on the table, or can I buy this, or we need to go shopping together, or something like that, because you might have totally different taste. Because my taste is very different. I have like some strange taste, and my taste is totally different from the next person's taste. So if you're gonna bring stuff home like furniture or different things, it's not gonna match the decor. It's never gonna match. And like, no, get that up out of here, or nope, that doesn't match, or accidentally, you know, say, oh, well. That's the wrong shade, that's the wrong color. It doesn't match with everything in the house. So it's kind of like now you have just a bunch of random stuff everywhere because you guys don't decorate together or y'all don't have the same taste, you know. And if you don't have the same taste, it's going to be hard because a woman wants to decorate her own home like she likes it. And I find that men are more blah when it comes to decorating. And so even though I'm not a professional decorator, I still want to look around and feel comfortable where I live. And so um, that's why I have my own space up here in my office, where I can put whatever I want. Because it's separate. No one has to see this because it's my own place. Just like my own house. Mhm. But fortunately, our house is big enough to where I can have so many different rooms. So many different, and I have two offices. I have, it's, actually wanted to get a bigger house. Literally, I want a bigger house, but at the same time, like I don't know if I want a bigger house or a different house. Like if I get a different house, it's going to be, I don't know yet. We don't know if I get a different house. I've been saying that for a while, but I don't know yet. I don't know because it has to be the perfect one. I know I always say, "Oh, there's no such thing as perfect for me," because when I see it, I'm going to go get it. Because not the perfect house that I want is very. I wouldn't say it's rare, but it's not your everyday house. You know what I'm saying? So the one when I see it, and it's within what I can do, or within whatever somebody can do, I'm gonna go for it because it's going to be like too rare to pass up. And when something is too rare to pass up, I believe, honestly, I believe in myself that it's definitely a sign that says, "Look, this is for you. Come get this." You know how it's like, "This is for you. Don't let this pass. Get it now before someone else gets it." And when you get it, like when you see it and you want it, and you're like, "Okay, I have everything in place in order to do this. Let me do it." And that comes from prioritizing everything in your life, prioritizing yourself, loving yourself, being responsible financially for your house, for your junk in your house. Get rid of it if you don't need it. That way when you move, it's a clean move. And I know this is like very, you can apply this to so many different things, but like I'm speaking literally, and I guess it could apply to, anything mental as well or spiritual. But at the same time, it's just um, how a lot of people will feel if they see that they like, okay, that song by Michael Jackson comes on. This is it. Here I stand. I'm the light of the world. I feel, you know, you're gonna have like that feeling, and it's gonna be like, oh, everything else is gonna be like fading away, and you're gonna see exactly what you want, and you're gonna go for it, and you're gonna have it, and you're gonna be like living that life, being like, yes, this is how I always saw myself, and you're gonna thoroughly just be where you really want to be. That could go for any relationship too. It don't have to be no house because some people they already got a house that that they like, but it could be the relationship too. Some people have relationships like some people have more deeper relationships with their home or their environment than they do with a person. Because it's almost as if they I don't know, it's just very I think like even when you have a dream or like when you dream your house is symbolic of your own body. So having a house is like self-love. Finding the perfect house um, is your self-love, because if you love yourself, then your house and your home definitely reflects that. But if you have a bunch of people in your house and they don't love themselves, you're going to see it in their part of the house. And it's like, oh. So also teaching your children and to love themselves. It's kind of hard when they're teenagers, but you got to do it, or they're around so many negative people that or they're at that time, where their hormones are this way and that way, and they don't feel as confident as they should. But you have to push that in them, and sometimes they won't get it until later on in life, and that's just how stuff is sometimes. Um, but you do the best you can, and once you get what you want, everything will probably just feel like, and then you maintain that. So that goes with relationships too. That goes with friendships. That goes with environments. If you have a job, that goes with jobs. Business, those goes business. And I always tell people, like, I'm not a businesswoman. I'm someone who loves herself and loves what she can do. And if other people like, um, you know, this person's, you know, bit like products and things like that, and they would like to purchase and buy, and the creativity that went into some of that product, and the product as the result, that's great. But at the same time, I never been to no business school. I don't have any business degrees. I don't even like the business. Um, I don't even really like the word business. Like, before there was even the word business, people already did what they call quote unquote business. They already had a thing that people were talented, and they did what they were talented at, and other people were like, oh, they would either trade or admire or whatever. But no one ever really called it a business until someone wanted to organize it, put a label on it, make it a factory, or some type of system. No, just this is what I do. They would have a name for it, like a craftsmanship or something like that. It wouldn't just be some corporation or some, entity, or as they call it anyway. It wouldn't be that. It would be what that person actually did. And it would be not something so impersonal. So I'm not a businesswoman. I create. Okay. And that's who I am. That's what I do. Creator. Um, and that's what I like. And if people want to purchase, the products and that came about the creation, then came out as a result of, then that's what you do. But I never would ever want to label myself a businesswoman, because I'm not. Believe me, I would suck. Everything is not running like a business. That's I hire other people to do that. Yeah, definitely can't um, call myself a businesswoman ever. So I never even tell people, like, when they ask me, well, what do you do? Me, I'm just me. Love myself, I guess. I'm just myself. I like doing these things, and that's what I do. Because I feel like when people ask you, who are you? That's not the answer. Most people don't even know other people, because when you ask them about themselves, or when you try to speak with them and have a conversation, it's all about a business or what they do, or something you never asked about. And it's like, that's not who you are. That's what you do. That's what you did, or that's what you plan to do. But who are you? You know? So if you don't know who you are, but you know how to run a business, that's not who you are. And so a lot of people get mixed up, and this is why they have a hard time in marriage because they only feel like they're supposed to do one thing. Like, okay, I'm a business. Okay. I go to work. That's good enough, right? I don't have it this, I don't have it. Then you're not a person. You're a business. You know what I'm saying? And people will use you as a business. It's like gold, like I will always talk to the gold diggers. I'm like, if there's a man out there and all they have is their money, right? And they try to lure you in and use you um, by having money, if that's all they got, and they have nothing else, then you're going to use them as a business. You know, like, okay, the business of creating your own as well. That's what I teach. I'm like, look, you're a business, you have nothing else to offer me. Then I'll use your money to start whatever I want to start and create what I want, and I'll make money off of that. But at the same time, if that's all you feel like you're good for, and that's all you're about, and that's all you worry about, and that's all you talk about, and that's all we see from you is money, 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 this, business, 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 that, then you're a business. It doesn't mean that um, you're a business just because it's all you're putting out. You're a business. And then when you get known for just being this type of person who's all about only business, it's like you're not seen as a human anymore. You're not seen as a person with feelings or whatever anymore. You're just like, oh, that person's just about business, or that's business, business, business. Okay, that's what I see. And when I can't ever say that I want to be known as all business because who does? No one does. No one wants to be known as a business. A business is not a person. Okay. So I don't even know why people would I don't even know why people would compare the two. Yes, it takes a person to start, a you know, or work or do those things that businesses require, but you yourself you know, as a person are separate from a business. I know that's why a lot of people have different, Instagrams with one with a business and one with, a personal page and stuff like that. That's true. But at the same time, you have to act like that too. You know, you have separate pages. I have several Instagrams, but at the same time, I never acted as a company. I never acted as a business. I was always me. Um, in fact, I'm more me than I am anything of a business or a company. And I feel that that's more feminine. Like that's more feminine. Men are like, oh, company business, this, and that, get my name out because they want to have that, that money or, what comes with business and stuff like that. But at the same time, they have to remember that who are they doing this for? Is it for themselves? Is it for self love? Is it for other people to love you and see you and do, and admire you and say, oh, that person, is important and somebody that I need to get to know or, look up to or whatever. If they don't see you like that already, they never will. They never are going to see you that way if they don't see you like that already. Because when I see someone, I may not know too much about them at all. I may not know every detail about them, but if I see them for the person that they are, um, of course, your work is going to be, something that people see, of course. But if you sit and talk to that person for a little while, you see the person that they are. It's like, wow, they have this work or this business, and they're this type of person too. Wow, I'm very, very like I. And so most guys and most people are like only showing that business side, and it's like they don't get to know the real person. And it becomes a competition. It becomes, well, I can do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to be the person that does that and I'm going to be the person that does that and I have to do this. And you forget about yourself and you lose yourself. You will lose yourself trying to be something that's not a person or you. You become, I don't even know the word for that. You become, I don't even want to say, I don't even want to say it, but you become very like empty. Not empty as far as like feelings or anything, but like you don't have, people don't see you anymore. They just see what you're competing for or what you're trying to, who you're trying to be, and it's not you anymore. They see like, oh, they're trying to compete, they're trying to do this, they don't see that part of you anymore. They only, I mean, that's what they see. They don't see the real you anymore. And the real you is what puts you exactly where you're trying to be. The person that you were before you started competing. The person that you were before you started trying to prove yourself to everyone, or I can do this and I should be here and I should, yeah, you you then put yourself there by being yourself, because I already know, like, most people, I don't, because I never seek fame. I don't want fame. That's not me. But I know a lot of people seek fame or just to be in a certain position. That they might not even want the fame with the position, but the position may come with fame, right? So if that's what people want, because I know a lot of people ask me, well, I want to be a famous this or a famous that. What should I do? Be yourself, but look good and stuff like that. Yeah, be yourself, because that's what's going to draw people in. They can get anybody to read a script, baby. They can get anybody. They can throw a script at anyone, and anyone can read that script. Any person, any person. They could say, okay, well, we need this type of person on today for the show, or whatever episode, or we need this type of model or whatever, or we need this type of entertainer to, or we need this type of influencer, whatever, whoever, whatever you're doing. All they got to do is pick somebody that can read. That's all they got to do. But if they like who you are, you're going to be like, we got to have that one. We want that one. Why? Because anybody can read a script. hmm And we want to learn. We want to see this person. We want to make sure that I can't replace them. There's no one else like them. But when you have someone that just does the same thing over and over, that's replaceable, you know? So if you're just a script reader or a placeholder, that's what I call them. If you're a script reader or a placeholder, stop. It's not who can read the best. It's not who can read the best script, who can look the most um, professional, who can look this, who can look. It's who you are. You know, I mean, you got to look like you look good, but at the same time, you need to be yourself. Nobody wants a trained, you know, whatever. And I feel like expressing yourself in whatever way you choose, it's going to become like, wow, this is the real that person. This is the real that person, or this is the real, Shira. This is the real person. I'm finally so glad that you stopped trying to just be this and you became who you really are. And you'll notice that a lot more people will really see you then, because you're not like everyone else, you know. And I feel that a lot of people suffer from this. Not They suffer from trying because when they go to these schools, they go to these training, and they become a carbon copy of whatever the person put together as a curriculum. They become just a carbon copy of a curriculum, and it's not it's not a person anymore. It's more like a, a trained person that's put out there to actually work for other people or read a script or whatever. And that's one of the reasons why I can't work for people, because they all have a script. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do all of that. They all have like a way. Like, I can't do that. I have to be me. Oh, well, you'll make this much money, and I don't care. I'll have that money, but I won't be happy. I'll have all that money, but if I can't be who I am, then what's the point? If I can't dress how I want to dress, what's the point? If I can't laugh and make jokes the way I want to laugh and make jokes, what's the point? I mean, what am I going to go do? Spend a bunch of money on a really nice outfit and then act and read a script? I'm just, no, be who you are. Um, yes, take care of yourself. Yes, level up yourself, but be who you are. Like me, no one can change me. No one can change who I am. The reason why is because I love myself. I love myself too much. And even if I forget, I will remember to love myself all the time. And if I love myself, I'm always love myself. And I'm always, always, always be me. I will always be me. You know why? Because there's no one else to be. And I want everyone to know that. Like, be who you are. Don't try to be someone else. That's the biggest mistake everyone makes. Or don't try to be a carbon copy of what you think people want. Nope. They want to see what you are. They that's the best part of it. They can't predict it. And even if they can, they're there because they like it. They're there because, you're not like everyone else. So make sure you always be who you are, and don't let people mold you into some boring thing, you know, because when you get old, like real old, you can't be old and boring. Okay, if you're gonna get old, you got to be old and crazy, old and funny, old and something, old and strange, old and what's the eclectic, old and just lively. I don't know. Just you can't just be old and boring. But I would say pick a struggle, but you can't just be like blah, because those are the type of the people that get forgotten about, and that's just it's kind of sad. But think about this: if you have a think about your I don't know, like some of y'all have family, right? The most boring oldest family members, no one ever cares about going to visit them or seeing or checking on them most of the time. It's like, oh, I don't want to go over there. It's boring. Ask some kids. I don't want to go over there. The house is boring. It's boring, 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 boring. But if you have one of them crazy, you know, elderly family members or something like that, oh, she's crazy and she has those weird things at her house. Yeah, let's go because I like playing in that weird room. Or, she has, these weird, the they are attracted to that because it's different and it's not blah and boring. They're not going to be sitting there wishing they were somewhere else. So definitely have to make sure. And like, I used to be I used to have more fun than I have now, but I had to slow down. But now, like, I'm ready to be like doing whatever. But at the same time, you can't stop being yourself. I have been presented with so many opportunities and I had to pass on them because I couldn't be myself. And I'm the type of person that no matter what. Like if I can't be myself or if I can't choose what I do, I'm not doing it. I don't care, you know. Um, so that's just who I like. I guess I don't know. I guess it's just who I am. Like, oh well, you're gonna have if you take this job or if you take this opportunity, and if I interview you or you interview me or we talk and then, record it on video and stuff, then you have to do this. You gotta wear this. You gotta not talk about this. Well, then I ain't doing it. Bye. Shoot, go find somebody else. That's what you want. Because and then especially if they're gonna edit stuff and you've taken your precious time and you've given of yourself, and they edit most of it out or something like that, or change how it sounds or change the perspective, or how they do on, whatever, then I'm not doing it. And that's how I feel like it's I mean, if you edit something down to like save time and um things like that, and but your point is still, there, that's fine. But at the same time, if you edit something down to where it's totally different, then why even do it in the first place? So make sure you remember who you are, and you remember that people like you and they want you because of who you are, not what you can be, not what someone can script you to be or mold you to be, because they can't ever do that. They can mold a character. You can play a character, you could act, but you don't take that character outside of whatever you're acting as. You don't take it with you. You switch back and become the real you. And I feel like a lot of people don't know the real version of people that they actually deal with, and a lot of people are afraid that they'll reject it. Oh, they're not going to like the real me, so I don't show it. But you'd be surprised. I've held back the real me from certain people, and when I finally became the real me and like this is who I am, I don't care, they liked it even more. And sometimes it's like people are afraid to be themselves because they're afraid that people are going to reject them and not like them. Da, 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 da. And it's like, well, at least you'll find out sooner rather than later, and you can stop wasting all that energy and effort trying to be something that you're not. And as a woman, we're put under the most pressure to be something that we are not. And we all know this. But at the same time, our personality and who we really are, we can be that. We can be all those things. And I always say, if you're a smart woman, if you're smart, sometimes men don't like women who are smarter than them or think that they're smarter or seem smarter than them in front of other people. And so I don't know, but it's not something that most men are going to be super attractive to because they're natural competitors, because they're always trying to compete. And so if you're a woman and you're smart and you're competing, with other women or other men, it's going to become, you know, instead of a compliment or an attraction, it's going to become repelling. And I always talk about this. It's going to become repelling. And when something becomes like repelling, it's because there's too much masculine or too much feminine energy that repels each other. So if you can't be the real you in a relationship, if you can't express your, how smart you really are in front of someone, because they will never appreciate it, then you got to ask yourself, do you really want to stay there? Do you really want to stay there? Or maybe you need to find someone that's way, way smarter than you, who can teach you on top of, whatever you think you know. That's probably better. But at the same time, you can't dumb down for someone who's not, um, you know, on the same level. But at the same time, if they don't ever be who they really are, you'll never know. You know. So that's why it's very important to be who you really are. Because if you say who you really are, then some things may not ever even be a factor. Like a woman may not ever want to prove how smart they are compared to someone else if there's a whole different side of that person that's being shown. That might not even come up. You might be too busy laughing or, having fun or doing something like that. At the same time, if that part of yourself is never shown or put on the forefront, you're going to focus on something else, which could be, okay, well, this person is this and this person is that. So I guess I can try to relate to them like this. And then all of a sudden, here you are competing with someone that is not even who you think they are or themselves at all. And you wind up like nowhere. And so, um, the same thing can happen with someone that does not really have much in common with you. You know, so just be very careful and selective of the type of person that you're going to spend time with, or communicate with, or get your what I guess your conversation with. Uh, I talk to like I have to talk to my children because, I guess because I taught them, so they know a lot of things that I know. So it's easier to have a conversation with someone who is, like a child and carefree, not afraid to say what they want, not afraid to be themselves, not afraid to, ask questions. They really don't try to compete with you because they are learning from you. And if you are not this, if you're not this strict, stern, or boring parent, they'll feel comfortable enough with you to speak with you and learn from you in exchange and have that type of conversation. And I think that will also teach them when they get older how to communicate with other people. But if you're with someone who does not have much in common with you or whatever, then it's going to be very hard. So make sure at least you have a good friend, a best friend, or somebody like that that you have some talk to. Because a lot of women are like, well, the man that I'm with is totally boring, or we don't talk about anything, or they're shy, or whatever. Whatever. That's why you got to have, other people that you speak to. Because if that person that you're with is not exchanging information or energy with you, then you're going to have to find another one that is. Because it's not um, it's not something that you wanted, right? So you gotta do it. Uh, I'm so used to reading comments and they're not there. It's just weird, but and I did record this whole video under private, and then I'll just list it as public afterwards because it was too distracting having all those comments in here. I'm like, they're not even asking, questions that are going to help them. So I'll probably be recording like this from now on because it's much easier and it's much better for me because I can focus and get all the things that I want across in a shorter amount of time. This is how I used to do my videos, and a lot of people like the long videos where they can ask me questions. And I know I have members, and we'll definitely do live for the members every once in a while. But even if you are a member and you're not asking questions that are beneficial to to all, then in the group, then maybe ask your questions in the permanent comment section, because a lot of people are not they're not being very considerate to other people when they ask certain questions that are not beneficial to all. And I can't really you know say that it's easy, but I'll try. Okay. So thank you guys so much for looking at my video. Um, and I hope you guys know that I love myself. You know, you guys need to love yourselves and see how your life starts to change for the better. Yeah. Don't always think that you have to be, don't always think that you have to be approved by someone, or you have to, you know, get someone's opinion, or don't always feel like you have to be like someone else. Just be the best version of you, but look good, right? Okay. Don't come out the house looking crazy, or don't, not even, I mean, everybody has their off days or whatever, but still try, just keep trying. I try every day. The days that I choose to look like, don't do anything with myself, that's the day that I'm trying to rest, and uh-oh, that's the day I'm trying to rest, so it doesn't really matter, especially if no one's gonna really see you. But at the same time, as long as you feel self-love and you love who you are, then that's what you need to do. And don't go out seeking it from other people all the time. Just love yourself, because that's the best way. Okay, sprinkle, sprinkle, everyone. I'll see y'all maybe soon. Oh, if you're gonna leave a permanent comment below, um, I'll try to read them. I'm not sure if I'll be back and to read them, but I'll try. So yeah. All right, yeah.